What's up, all you motorcycle enthusiasts, and welcome to the V-Twin Life here on YouTube. We talk motorcycles powered by those V-Twins, what fuels our passion, why you enjoy it so much. V-Twin Life is brought to you by these two great companies, Crash Inc. Clothing and Wild Ass Seats. Hey, you want to add some comfort to your ass when you're out riding, whether you're a 400-mile guy, or maybe a guy that's pushing 1,000 plus, or female rider for that matter? Hey, check out wild-ass.com and add some comfort to your ass. Can't forget Crashing Clothing, that Northwest brand out of the Pacific Northwest. Hey, these guys got a lot of great stuff, from t-shirts to hats, raincoats, you name it. Hey, they can get you covered. Check out crashingclothing.com. Now, let's dive into another milepost of the V-Twin Life. Hey, what's up, buddy? Welcome back to another milepost of the V-Twin Life. We talk motorcycles powered by those V-Twins. Well, fears a passion, why we enjoy so much. Tonight, milepost 70 with guy I got to meet up when I went over to Sturgis for the start of the Hoka Hey. We got Sparkz, who is a Hoka Hey finisher. He is an iron butt rider, and dude just loves to ride and has some awesome stories. Had quite an adventure on the Hoka Hey, so we'll get into that, and we'll dive into a lot of stuff, talking bikes, have a good time. So, Sparkz, welcome to the show, and thanks for coming on, buddy.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. You know, being able to be on a podcast like many of the other my mentors in the game, you know, I'm humbled.
That's what it's all about. I mean, you know, we all have that common ground of, you know, what brings us together, which, you know, is motorcycles. And, you know, it's funny, when I got to meet up with you over there, you know, we're over at Rapid City over at the Harley shop, and, you know, we had a good time shooting the shit. And actually, it was funny, I think you actually one of the guys that recognized who I was because I had my t-shirt on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we, you know, traded some stickers. We were shooting the shit for a while, and it was a lot of fun. It was, you know, pretty cool, and it was neat to, you know, finally put a face to a lot of people that you just get to meet over social media. You see their posts, whether Facebook, Instagram, and all this, and it was a lot of fun. And, you know, I followed your adventure through the adventure of the Hoka Hey, and it's like, holy crap, man, what a ride. And, you know, through the trials and tribulations, the ups and downs, but you know what, you made it, and, you know, we can dive into the adventure that you had and some of the downs that you rolled into, but you know, on the upsides, you know, you got through it. You powered through, and that was awesome. You know, you were one of the many guys, the 19-rider team riding for Mile Monsters, which was awesome. It's a organization that does so many great things, and, you know, I'm honored to be joining up with them for the Monsters Over Mountains here coming up in a couple weeks. And figure, hey, you know what? Why not get up with you and hear about some of your adventures? So, no, go ahead, bud.
Absolutely, man. You know, first, you know, shout out to our boy Riot, man. You know, I thank him for the opportunity to ride for Mile Monsters and do epic shit for others, you know, boys that need it. And, you know, glad he's still walking with us right now, because Lord knows his Hoka Hey was a whole lot more challenging than mine.
That was actually got Kimberly Walling. She's in the side chat, so congrats.
Hey, that's another beast right there. I mean,
yes, it is.
First female elite finisher this year. You know, she did the thing. Congratulations, Twister.
Absolutely. Finishing that is anybody, all the people that you know finish it. And man, my hat is off to you. It's no easy feat to get through that ride. But let's just, you know, start from the beginning. So what got you into motorcycles?
You know, I grew up around it. My dad was always on bikes. I remember doing road trips with him on his old, the 87 Suzuki GS 550E. Doing road trips with him. They had a bike rally in Michigan, for the longest at this lady's property. And it was the Susie Greenway's biannual Freeze Your Ass Off rally. And no matter what, it was always below freezing riding to that rally. And I'd be the backpack and just ride along with them and just be a bunch of old bikers on some old junk bikes that they were held together and, you know, personally built themselves, and they weren't fancy, but they did the job. And she always had like chili and hot chocolate and coffee there. And it was like a 3-hour ride out, 3-hour ride back, but it was always a good time. Riding down the Mid Ohio Raceway to see the MotoGP guys. You know, just growing up traveling on the bike with him, and then I joined the Army. He gave me the bike as a graduation present when I graduated high school. But I went to Germany and I took the motorcycle license test on post and I failed it. And then I had to go on the economy to do it, and I couldn't speak German good enough. So the whole time I was in Germany, didn't have a bike. I finally got back on in 2014. Got back on, started out in 14 on a little 883, realized I ain't even passing a gas station on that bike. So
yeah, the old 3-gallon peanut tank, not going far.
Yep. So, and then I went to Korea, I went to Korea, came back, and I was like, you know, I'm trading this in. And I went to the Harley dealership here, Horny Toad Harley, and they had this used switchback, and it only had 1,200 miles on it. So I was like, well, it hasn't been ridden much, ain't nothing done to it. So I know service is done on it, so let's go. And
so how long you been on your switchback then?
Since 2015.
Oh, geez, so you've had it a while.
Summer of 2015. Yeah.
So how many iron butts have you done on that? Because I know you've got involved with the Iron Butt Society.
I've done 4. All 4 have been Saddle Store 1000s. Mm-hmm. I got a couple planned. I'm playing in a Bum Burner Gold, you know, the 1500 in 24 hours. That one I'm going to do all the Texas Tour of Honor sites for that one. But all my iron butts have been for Ride to Eat, the Ride to Eat Across America one. Mm-hmm. Restaurants. I've picked a restaurant or a point of interest that was 500 miles out and just rode up there, ate lunch, got my receipt there as my turnaround point, and then come home. But like talking with a lot of the guys at the Hoka Hey, it's more of what I want to do is do try to do the 50-hour coast to coast. All that stuff. Next summer, I want to do historic Route 66.
That would be cool.
Ride up to Chicago and then ride all the way to the end.
That would be fun. Yeah, I'd love to. I'd like to get the Four Corners someday too. That would be an epic ride.
Yeah.
That was part of like with what I got going with the Monster Ride is the 1500. It's like 1552, and that's the goal is under 36 hours to get the Saddle Sore and then the Bun Burner 1500 out of the Monsters Over Mountains ride.
Yeah.
And then we partnered up with that one. We got Ride 1K in a day. So Ramble, the first day is going to be 1,000 miles, and then our registration fees when we complete the first day, after we get back and submit our paperwork with Ride 1K in a day, Ramble is donating all the money back for our $48 fee is all going right back into the charity. And I'll let this cat out of the bag. Coming up, anybody that does a Ride 1K in a day that weekend, August 20th or 21st, it's $48 when you register. He's going to take $30 from that fee, and that's also going back to Mile Monsters of anybody that completes a 1K that weekend.
Oh, that's phenomenal, man.
Yeah, so that'll be cool. So what made you want to get into, to attempt the Hoka Hey this year?
Man, so 2019 is when I found out about the Hoka Hey. And I went to Reef and K Solo's Ride to Eat in Hammond, Louisiana. And we pulled in the parking lot, walked in the hotel, and I saw this back patch that I had never seen before. And I was like, so I started asking questions about it and learning about it. And I'm like, man, this is cool. Went home, did my research. I followed 2020. I originally just was following Reef and K Solo. And then I started seeing the front runners and started looking them up on Facebook and Instagram and everything. And I was like, man, this is cool. Like, this is old school biker stuff, like back in the day kind of thing, you know, before cell phones and GPS. And I was like, you know what? It's a once in a lifetime opportunity to try and get in. So, hey, let's go for it. And I started training in 2020 and found out in 2021 I got in, and that's all she wrote after that. But like, it was just, I saw how they interacted with each other, and I got to listen to stories and, you know, see the pictures after 2020, see the pictures of places they went. You couldn't beat it.
Yeah. So then you started, you know, when you said training, what you started getting into some, you know, endurance riding and pushing yourself with mileage wise to get yourself ready to, you know, attempt the journey?
Yep.
So is that where then, you know, doing the iron butts and whatnot came into play also?
Yeah. I started there after I got accepted. I started doing a lot of that, and I would see how far I could ride during the day, just to find a place to sleep. You know, I would ride into the night and then just find a place to bed down and see how many miles I did that day. And the one thing I wish I would have done was actually try and like plan out actual directions, like have the directions they have on the Hoka Hey, and practice riding and reading and everything. That was a little more difficult for me.
That's what I've heard from a lot of people. Is the directions part is the hardest part, following those turn by turn directions, because it's not, from what I understand, it not specific in a way when it says, you know, so many miles, you know, turn on I-50, but it could say, I think what's Hopper say, it might say less than 50, and it could be 5, it could be 20, and he goes, that's the hardest part, is paying attention to road signs, so keeping yourself going.
Yeah. And that was the biggest that was the biggest thing for me. Was it wasn't so much the shorter ones. If it was like less than 70, my attention span was good. But if I got over, there were a couple that were like 300 miles. Like, you're on this road for 300 miles, I would forget I'm looking for a road sign, and I completely missed the turn.
Oh shit!
And then you're just getting frustrated because you can't, because you're missing a turn. You're making little mistakes,
Which in turn costs yourself time.
Yeah, like the first day. The first day was the worst one for me because I was trying to figure it all out. And I probably put an extra 300 miles on the bike getting lost.
But yeah, I mean, I guess part of the trials and tribulations, you know, your first year and you know, trying to understand how the navigating part goes for that.
Yeah. And, but it was frustrating the first day. I mean, I did 980 miles, and 300 and some change of that was going the wrong way and having to backtrack.
Shit. So when you got accepted, that's the other thing I got. So we'll get into more of that. The ride here in a second. How'd you get hooked up and decide to to get involved with Mile Monsters? Is being part of the monster team?
So like I've like I said, when I watched 2020 and I saw, when I first started watching 2020, I was watching Solo and Reed, and then it intrigued me on the front runners, Diesel, Fede, Riot, Hop, Paco, like all those guys up front. I was like, man, and Solo was right up there with them. I'm like, man, these guys are moving. And to see it, I was like, man. And then so I just started following them on Facebook, and then watching Hop do all his crazy rides, doing 100K in a day, 100 days, raising $100,000 for Mile Monsters, and then just watching what Riot was doing for the boys was just huge.
Right.
So apparently my phone, hold on, I got to go in the house because apparently the phone's not liking this Texas heat. It stopped taking a charge.
Getting a little overheated, is it?
Yeah, said it won't charge because of the heat. But to sit there and see these guys do what they were doing for these boys, and to see what the boys went through, I knew it was something I had to do. So,
right.
It was definitely humbling, and then to have the support of the boys that were going through it. I was, they were sending them all the monsters messages and everything, and I was riding for Alfie this year.
Whoa, we lost him. Yeah, hopefully he comes back in a minute. We'll find out. Oh, here he comes.
My bad. But riding for Alfie, it was, he was sending me messages, and he sent me a care package before I left. And, in the care package was a pullover jacket. I wore it pretty much every night when I went to sleep because it was cold.
That's super cool. I know, following the page and whatnot, following everybody and seeing all the messages, on the monster page from the boys and whatnot was super cool. And then see at the end of it, that video that whether it was one of the parents put together, that was quite a tear jerking YouTube video they put together.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, okay, so day one you kind of had some trials and tribulations. When did you start running it? I know you had some issues with suspension wise, but how was day 2 and 3 and whatnot going through the Hoka Hey? Did you kind of settle in for a little bit before kind of things went a little south at times?
So day two was good throughout the day, and it was late that night on day 2 that I lost my left shock. I hit a bump and compressed the suspension. Bike was overweight, and it shit.
Damn technology. Can be your best friend, can be your worst enemy. Come on, Sparky. So how's everybody else doing tonight? Got some people hanging out watching. Chat's got a little quiet. Hopefully Sparkz comes back. Dun dun dun. Hey, what's going on, HD? How you doing? Sparkz is having some technical difficulty. Hopefully we get reconnected here in a minute. Hopefully his battery hasn't totally died out on him. That's a good point, Kim. That would have been a good one. Comical face, we could just leave him up there, go big screen all by himself till he comes back. Hopefully he comes back. We're going to have to get you to come on here soon, Kim. Tell your story, because, I mean, you had an awesome finish. Actually, he's been doing good. He's been riding his bike a lot, and he's enjoying it. It's been a great bike for him. He's been enjoying it, riding as much as he can. Actually, he's been using his commuter, riding it back and forth to work instead of driving his truck all the time. I think he's been getting more time on two wheels than I can. That would have been funny. Yeah, I could have made a good meme out of him if we could have got a good facial expression. Seems he's having a little bit more difficulty than normal. That's thing, like you said, I mean, much like myself, I'm not a super tech smart person for sure. That's why a lot of times when I have issues, I got, Bri the biker. That's my tech support line. I got him on speed dial. Bri, shit's broken. Shoot. Yeah, I've heard you guys down in Texas have been having some serious hot weather. I think it was bad enough. I think we might have got close to 80 today, and I was damn near, it was too hot. Yeah, Bri is very good at that stuff. He's been a great friend and a great mentor and a great help when I got issues. Well, man, hopefully Sparkz can get this stuff figured out soon. Well, shoot. Yeah, I seen something the other day. I think it might have been Thursday. Like Austin was on the 40th consecutive day of triple-digit temperatures. That would be miserable. Guess that's why it's pretty much a must-have in Texas. You gotta have air conditioning in your house. Hey, it is up here in the Northwest, right? Yeah, man, be nice. Especially with the humidity. We're not used to that stuff up here. We don't get it that often. We get like 2 weeks of summer and then it goes back to 60s, 70s. Well, man. Come on, Sparkz. He might have to find himself another device. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, I bet. Yeah, I get in the morning when it's still cool and get out there. Oklahoma has a big backyard. They call it Texas. Oh, that's good. Oh, I guess he's trying to get on his daughter's phone. Okay. Hopefully he'll be back here in a minute. See, I'm not good like Monkey and some of those other guys that can just come on live and talk by themselves. Can't do that yet. I don't know how they do that. No, and I can't sing, Dallas. That ain't happening. Northeast Nevada, it's 93 at 9% humidity. Whoo! I don't know what we hit here today. I know it was warm. I know that. Yeah, about 80. 75% humidity. That's why I was sweating. Nope. Can't do that either. What's up, Michael Bike? Actually, we're just waiting on Sparkz. Had some technical difficulty with his phone. We lost him for a minute, but he's working on coming back. We can hear some more stories about his adventures he had on the Hoka Hey this year. See if he gets going back. So you guys been getting some good rides in this weekend, getting some time on getting that two-wheel therapy in? I know I wanted to, but I had too much to do. Soon. I gotta go do an oil change, actually. Maybe next weekend or the weekend after, get my oil changed. Do a little service before my monster ride here in about almost 4 weeks, just under a month away. At least I got to do the primary, that at least that got done when I was over in Rapid City. Just do the oil. Tranny's still good, so yeah, just an oil change. Quick and easy. Yeah. I'm not at that level. Someday, not yet. Maybe. Who knows? Okay, so actually, Kim, so August 20th, I went and we're doing the Monsters Over Mountains. Reached out, I got Michael Nielsen, who's Two Wheels to Survive. Frank Orlando is known as Watch Out For Us. Got Brad Columbus, owner of Crash Inc. And Colin McLeod, who owns Sea Cycles out of Freda. We're going to leave Port Angeles Saturday. We're planning 5 in the morning, and we're going to do roughly 1,550 miles to finish the whole thing. We're going to be leaving Port Angeles. We're going to zigzag all the Cascade Mountains from the north to the south, going up over the North Cascade Highway. Some epic scenery. You can do, little video stuff up there. Come down through Winthrop, head towards Leavenworth, which is a Bavarian village of the northwest. Coming back to the west side over Stevens Pass. Then we're going to take the side highway, I think it's Highway 9, down to North Bend. Then we're going back to the east over Snoqualmie. We're going to cross over Blewett Pass. Head to Ephrata and Vantage down through Central Washington, down through the Columbia Gorge. Going to ride a nice, cool road called Canyon Road. It's about a 60-mile little side highway. Then we're going up over Chinook Pass. We're going to come back over White's Pass. And we're going to finish day one down around the Columbia River. Will be about 1,030 miles. We'll do a 1K / iron butt ride the first day and wake up early in the morning. Then we're taking off, going up over Oregon's Mount Hood, which is the 4th biggest mountain. So we're doing we're going to get up close Mount Baker, Mount Rainier, Mount Adams, and Mount Hood, the 4 big peaks of the Cascades and Pacific Northwest. And then we will come back up the Washington coast after we go around Mount Hood and come up the coast and finish back in Port Angeles. And if we have time, we'll go up to Hurricane Ridge here in Port Angeles at Olympic National Park. Olympic National Park is one of the only national parks in the country that actually does not have a road that goes all the way through it. You can drive up into it a little ways, but you actually cannot cross Olympic National Park because there's no road. But we can go up to Hurricane Ridge up by Mount Angeles, which is around 6,800 feet. And if we have time, we're going to throw that in there, and then we will finish back up at the gas station close by my house. Hopefully we'll get under our 36-hour time limit, which would be the Bun Burner 1500, and doing this to help raise money for Mile Monsters, to help support these young boys with Duchenne's and help them live the best lives possible while they fight an amazing battle, which I shouldn't say amazing, why they have to fight for their lives, because right now they suffer from Duchenne's, which is 100% fatal, and we have no cure for it. And these mothers and fathers, families, I can't imagine. I'm a father myself, and I couldn't imagine being in their shoes. They have tremendous strength to help support their kids when they know there's no cure for it. I can't imagine going through that. Never seen your son play baseball or graduate, and all these little things that so much of us, in a way, I guess now you realize you take it for granted when there's a lot of kids and families that don't get to see that. So I wanted to do something to help more. I love sharing all the posts for Mile Monsters, but I wanted to try to do a little something more. So I put together Monsters Over Mountains, and it's grown. At first I thought we were going to have 3, and then we're up to 5, and actually there's a few more people now that have joined in, and it's going to be a little bit challenging. I think we might actually have 8 or 9 guys going. So when you got a group of 8 or 9 riders, when you're trying to fight a time limit, things do take a little bit longer. But hey, we're going to do what we can and push on and get it done and do our ride, which will be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a challenge, but there's some awesome epic scenery to be had. The North Cascades, you got Lake Ross and Lake Diablo, which are brilliant emerald green. Winthrop is a cool western themed town. You got Leavenworth is a Bavarian village. It's like you're in the Swiss Alps. And there's places on Chinook Pass and White's Pass where you come around the corner and you got Mount Rainier, which is 15,000+ feet, and it's like all you can see in the sky is Mount Rainier right in front of you on some of them corners. And there's some epic scenery. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the challenge, and looking forward to riding with some great guys that I became great friends with. And we're going to do something we enjoy, which is riding motorcycles, but do it for a great cause, which is Mile Monsters. I couldn't think of a better organization to be part of to help do what I can to support everything. So that's the ride. If you guys want to check it out, there's more info. It is pinned at the top of the V-Twin Life Facebook page, the whole event and the fundraiser page. every dollar helps, whether you want to chip in your $3, $4 for your cup of coffee. That'd be great. If even just sharing the post, get more exposure for it. And thank you for everything, you guys. Coming here watching this, but yeah, share that post. If you can donate, do whatever you can. Get more exposure for Mile Monsters, and we can all work together. This awesome community around motorcycles, and it's like a tight-knit family in a way, and help support everybody. Share the post, get it out there, and see what we can do and raise some awesome funds and have fun. We like to ride, and if you can enjoy time on your motorcycle and do it for something awesome, that's just a win-win. So that is Monsters Over Mountains, and Sparkz must be having some serious difficulty. Hopefully it gets here soon. But yeah, thanks, Kim. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it, and we're even considering doing it kind of, in a way, the old school style, and in a way, the Hoka Hey is after we hit our 1,000 miles, basically find a place to sleep and sleep on the side of the road somewhere and pitch a tent, a sleeping bag, tarp, whatever we have, get some few hours of shut-eye, get up early in the morning and hit it again to try to get back within our time limit. Let's just see how things go. A lot of it is only 2-lane highways, so we're only going to be on I-90 just for a little bit, and then it's all 2-lane mountain passes, so there might be some traffic to contend with that might be able to slow us down, but we'll see how things go, and we're just going to ride it and have fun. And when you got some great people and you're riding with good friends and having a good time, then it's a win-win. His phone overheated and shut off. Well, shoot. Well, hopefully it gets back here soon. Oh, so any of you guys got any rides plans? Got anything going on that you want to share? Let's see here. Let's do this. Dun dun, 1 sec. Dun, dun, dun. See if we can liven this up a bit. All right, hold on. Yeah, we'll get that. Sorry for the downtime, guys. Working on this, trying to get through. Hopefully we can get them back shortly. We'll see. We'll bring on another guy or two for a few, and hopefully we can get Sparkz back soon. But yeah, I guess what happens. You know, I mean, getting them heat, those devices only take so much heat before they're going to shut down and turn off, which is a bummer. See if anybody checks their messages. Send a couple invites to a few people. Get some chit-chatting going while I wait for Sparkz. Oh, yeah, see, I'm not good at doing this stuff by myself. I gotta have somebody to talk to. Yeah, I know Riot actually was going to try to come out for the monster ride in August, but his wife was on vacation, had some plans, so he ended up having to not be able to make it. I know I got a message from Hop, but he was interested, so we'll see if that happens. The same with Go Home Ken. Them guys are legendary guys when it comes to that kind of stuff. Any of those calipers are always welcome to come ride because kind of guys you learn things from. Hey, Dallas, check your phone. Springer Mike's out eating dinner. I'm going to go drive by a house for sale. Ooh, what's dinner? What are you eating? Coming up on barbecue time for me. No, is Sparkz back? There he is.
Hey, it wouldn't be talking about the Hoka Hey if I didn't have a challenge.
Hey, at least you made it back. We were hoping, came at a good point. At least it would have been great if it would have froze with a funny facial expression. We could have made a great meme out of you.
Hey, I'm always down to be memed. It happens. So
you got what? So I think we were talking about day 3.
Okay, so yeah, so day 2, night of day 2, I my shock blew out. When it blew out, I didn't know it happened. I ended up, that was in Minnesota. Minnesota. Woke up the next morning in church parking lot, oil right there where the shock was, and I was like, all right. Kept pushing. I was like, we'll be all right. Just make it to checkpoint 1, find a shock, whatever we can do. I called my people, and they made phone calls, and matter of fact, the national president of my club, his wife, and a couple other members were there. They found shocks. The shocks didn't work, unfortunately, but they tried, and they had it set up. When I pulled into checkpoint 1, they had one of the techs there ready to work on it, swapped the shocks out. We tried it, realized it wasn't going to work. He put the old shocks back on it, adjusted the preload, make them a little stiffer, and we rode. So I had one good shock, one bad shock, and we went for broke. And I went, 8 more days before the right shock finally said, all right, you've worked me enough.
And then, because you made it all the way up, were you somewhere in Oregon when you finally got them changed?
Seaside, Oregon on the 101. I was in a lot of it. I can't tell you where I was, but I can tell you where the extremely bad happened. And I thought I was done because I was at a U-Haul parking lot in Seaside, Oregon on the 101 when it went. Like I was coming past the U-Haul and I felt it, and I knew exactly when it happened. And so I pulled into the parking lot, called my wife. I called my brother Two-Tone, and I said, at that point I thought I was done because we hadn't been able to find shocks the whole time I was on the ride. I had been looking throughout it, and they were like, "No, you're not done yet. Just hold on." And then my club brothers up in Portland had some 2013 Road Glide shocks, air shocks, and so they rode. I think it was like an hour and a half from Portland to Seaside, and they brought the shocks, they brought the tools, they brought the jack. We put the shocks on. It was like midnight, and we put them on. Then we realized we didn't have the fitting for the air shocks to put air in them, and so I was like, well, we're just gonna ride. Hopefully checkpoint 3 has the fitting, and we held her together with hopes and dreams. But she didn't handle quite like I was used to her handling. So my corners were a little bit slower than I would have liked, up in the mountains and everything. But we made it checkpoint 3, got there late at night. They were closed. We slept in the parking lot, waited. We waited. I waited the next morning for them to open, and one of the techs had the fitting, the Y fitting with the 2 airlines, so I could put air in the shocks. He had them takeoffs, and the techs, they were like, "Hey man, you're doing it on the dyno. That's awesome." I said, "Hey man, I appreciate it, but do y'all have this?" They were like, "Let me go check," and put them on right there in the parking lot. And I never left a checkpoint so fast in my life because I was 4 or 5 hours behind everybody that I rode into the checkpoint with. So, but those 8 days prior to getting those shocks was tough. There were days where the roads were really, really rough, and I just wanted to quit. I ended up I rode coming through one town, and I saw a CVS, and I had to stop. I prayed. I said, please let them have a back brace, something to give me a little more support in my back. And I walked in, and it was a $70 back brace. It was the only one they had, but I was like, well, I don't want to pay $70, but if it's going to help me finish, we'll spend the $70. And, And also, huge shout out to Wild Ass Seat Cushions, because I would not have finished if I wouldn't have had that extra cushion on that seat.
They are well worth it. And I got mine and spent some time on after. I've logged thousands on it. I got 6-ish thousand miles on it. I won't ride without it. There's no way.
No way. I got home, and I rode probably 20 miles without that seat cushion on, and I was like, man, this is uncomfortable, and it's only 20 miles.
Yeah, so and I thought my seat was comfortable. It's like I've, put a lot of miles on without one. I always thought my seat was good, and then I got the Wild Ass, and like, holy crap, game changer.
Yeah, extreme game changer, and like everybody in my chapter in my club down here in Killeen, I think all but 2 people have one, and they're about to get one. But everybody has one, and it's been proven. So,
yeah. You just walk through the parking lot. I remember that Saturday up there in Rapid City. I'll bet you 75% of the bikes had one.
Yeah, and a lot of people it was crazy. For me, it was funny. Everybody was, Wild Ass Craig and his whole team, man, phenomenal. He should be preparing just like us for the Hoka Hey, and he wasn't worried about himself. He's worried about, making sure whoever needed one had the ability to get one. And getting everybody set up. He probably, I'm not going to even try and throw numbers out, but he sold quite a few that day too.
I remember it was like a week coming up to it when he was getting ready to head that way. I remember he put out a post that anybody buying one, they will not ship out fast enough, but you put in the comments you're riding the Hoka Hey. He's like, I will bring it with me. And people were ordering them, and he just threw them in the van and personally delivered them himself, just to make sure they had them by the time they were leaving.
Yeah, and you can't beat a company like that. And
No.
I will stand by that product. And when I get my new bike, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna buy a second Wild Ass to put on that bike, so I don't have to switch them out. And
yeah, I know we put one on my son's bike when we rode over there, and he was like, "Can I just keep it on here?"
Yeah, and I'll never ride another motorcycle without a Wild Ass seat cushion.
Yeah, I agree.
But
so get back. So you left. Go ahead.
I would say the biggest challenge, other than the shocks, those 8 days I rode with only one good shock, the biggest thing for me was a lot of those technical roads, man, and trying to navigate it with a bike that didn't handle like I was used to. I had to relearn the bike. And so it slowed me down in the corners at first. And, I was fortunate. And that's one thing I love about the Hoka Hey community, man, is you'll run up on another rider and they'll see you struggling. And they might be on a mission for a time, but they see you struggling and they're going to stop. They're going to check on you. They're going to, I rode 4 or 5 days with Andy Dennis, rider 1013 out of Canada. And I wouldn't have made it as far as I did those couple days without him, because he pushed me. He was like, hey, man, come on, we got it. We're going to push a little farther. Let's go find us a good place. Let's get off this mountain. Let's get out of this turn, whatever. And just the camaraderie and the brother and sisterhood you find in the Hoka Hey. Everybody's already knows what they've signed up for. They're in the suck with you, and we all got one goal, and that's the finish. And then to see what other riders went through. I know Boost Fighter Taekwon, he was on a Pan America, and he didn't fare too well, man. We ran up on him US 70 in New Mexico, and the Pan America just shut down, just wouldn't run no more. And so we pull up on him, and he's standing next to the bike with his umbrella, which I say thank you to Ride. I will always keep an umbrella on my bike because you never know where you're going to break down. And if you have an umbrella, you always got some shade.
I saw that from a lot of posts. Like, dude, that's genius, really. I mean, some of those they can collapse small enough and just throw in a saddlebag, but I can imagine some of those places, through the deserts or whatnot, because like you guys never know where you're going, or even for anybody that matter. You break down somewhere in the wide open on a hot day, having some shade just to get that sun off you. That's a hell of an idea.
And so when we pulled up on him, we're like, "You good?" He was like, "I have no cell phone signal. I can't call a tow truck. I'm just out here." And so I was like, so we're standing around. Me and Andy were standing around with them, and I posted a picture that Taekwon had taken. I was standing at the back of my bike with the umbrella and my phone. That was the only spot I could get signal. And I called my wife, and all I could do was make phone calls. I couldn't get internet, nothing. I called my wife. I said, "Hey, this was the last city we were in. I think it was like 60, 70 miles up the road. I said, this was the last city. I need you to find a tow company and text me the number. Don't share the Google file for it, but just copy the number and then text it to me." And we were able to get him, get the tow truck out there, and he ended up getting towed to Barnett Harley in El Paso. And they told him, "Hey, you buy a bike, we'll ship your Pan America back home for you." So he bought a brand new bike. And the next day he had to spend the night at the dealership. Next day, got the bike, and then he caught us like a day and a half later and passed us. I don't know how. I don't think he slept. But I will say the booze fighters that did the Hoka Hey, man, they are a special breed, because them boys went hard for the whole time. And phenomenal group of guys from the booze fighters that were riding for Mile Monsters. As a matter of fact, every rider in the Hoka Hey was just phenomenal, and they pushed themselves to well beyond their limits. But we ran into them. Where we running? Lake Tahoe, just north of Lake Tahoe. And if you ever get to ride through Lake Tahoe on the 4th of July, it's a phenomenal ride. The traffic, you're stuck in it all day. It's phenomenal. Okay. Don't ever do it. Like,
oh, that's good.
But we ran into him that night, 4th of July night. And he had already had his bedding laid out and everything. And we pulled up, and he was like, "Man, I'm happy to see you guys." And he was like, we're just swapping stories of the trials and tribulations and all the good, bad, and ugly from it. And, you catch them, or you run into people and start laughing. It gives you a boost of energy throughout the whole trip, because a lot of times, a lot of people are riding by themselves. Like day 11 through 14, I was by myself most of the day. I'd catch people at gas stations, and me being on a Dyna, I was stopping a lot more than all the big boy touring bikes.
Yeah.
But I would catch them every once in a while, and they'd be like, "Hey, you doing good?" "Yeah, I'm good." "You good?" "Yeah." "All right. Hey, man, good luck. Keep pushing." And, we get texts throughout the day. "Hey, you good?" Just checking on everybody. You weren't always just focused on yourself. You were worried about every other rider on the challenge with you.
And that's awesome, the camaraderie that's there within that group.
And exactly. And, I'm sitting there day 9, 10, and I'm seeing, K Solo, Pothole, AJ, Patrick Cornell, like all these, the top 10, all the elite riders coming in starting day 10, got to hit that congratulations form, man. You congratulate the ones that finished before you, and then you're rooting on the ones that are still out there on the road when you finish. but it was, I learned a lot about myself as a rider on that ride. I thought I could ride. I thought I was a pretty good rider, and then I got on them roads with those bike problems. I'm like, man, I need to go back to the basic riders course and like learn to ride all over again. But you can't find roads like that. Like you and I could not sit down and plan a trip and find roads like that we were on. You know, beautiful scenery pretty much the whole time, other than going through Portland.
Yeah, Portland's a shit show, and it doesn't matter what time of day. It sucks all the time.
But we really didn't go through like any like major cities the size of Portland other than Portland. But it was just being out there on the road and seeing seeing the beauty of America and being off a highway, off an interstate.
And that's the best way to travel, off the interstates. I mean, I understand there's time where, you know, you got to get on the interstates because you got to make up time, you got to get somewhere. But if you can get off the interstates and you ride those back highways, the side highways, that's some of the best places there are to ride.
Yeah. The one that got my nerves the worst, one of the lines that said, Ely, Nevada is the last fuel stop for 175 miles. And I was averaging 180 miles to the tank. And we're going, we stopped in Ely. We stopped at the last gas station we saw, and we turned around to go back to this gas station because we looked and there was no other gas station. So we're like, hey, let's go fill up here. And we take off and we're riding, and I get 170 miles down this road and my fuel light comes on. Well, my fuel light had been on for like 20 miles already. And when it comes on, you know, I got like 30 miles till it's gone. And I was just like, oh, please let me make it. You talk a lot to yourself on long rides like that. You and the demons and you and yourself are having long conversations. And I'm just talking about, man, we got to find a gas station. I don't know if we're going to make it. Oh, this is going to be bad. And we found the gas station. We had to go, I think it was like 5 miles off the route to find this gas station. And I'd used every drop of fuel I had in that tank because we pulled into the parking lot. We come off the road and we pull in the parking lot and the bike dies.
Oh, Jesus.
I was probably 60 feet from the pump. And at that point, you take a deep breath of relief, deep sigh of relief, and you're just like, okay, we made it. I can push it 60 feet. And we stopped, we filled up, and then we got back on course, and we kept riding, man, and rode past, what was it, the extraterrestrial highway. We rode on that. That was cool. I didn't realize how big people were into aliens in Roswell. Like, I knew it was a big deal, but I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But that was cool. You know, I tried to stop and take quick pictures, and pictures won't do that trip justice. The scenery, you cannot find a camera that will do it justice. But just to see all the stuff, and you know, you're trying to ride and dodge wildlife. I think that was the biggest challenge, was dodging wildlife and trying to make sure you don't hit a deer, buffalo, elk, bear. I did hit a bird. Thankfully, that was the only wildlife I hit, was a bird.
We came upon a herd of buffalo coming home, and we went through the Tetons coming back through. Went through central Wyoming, which is boring as shit. There's not a goddamn thing through central Wyoming but antelope and little oil derricks. But when we came out of going over the Tetons and we were coming down through one of the valley before you get to was just after Jackson Hole. There was a herd of, say, 200 to 300 buffalo right on the side of the road.
Yeah.
No, we were around in one of the corners. There's a big tree, and I got on the commune with my son. Said, hey, slow down. I said, there's a buffalo standing behind that tree because it was a right hand corner, and we kind of slowed down a little bit, and he was 25 feet from us. And of course, my son, hey, you want to stop and take a selfie of the buffalo? I'm like, dude, I'm not Riot, man. I don't take selfies with buffaloes. I'm not interested.
Exactly. So that's funny you say that. I was probably 15, 20 miles out on 385 coming into Hot Springs, South Dakota to finish. So I'm close. I can smell the finish line, and I'm like, I just want to get there. Wide open curve, I don't see nothing, but there's a hill on the one side of the curve. And as soon as I come around the curve, I heard a buffalo come up. And I grabbed every bit of brake. I went from 6th gear to 1st. I didn't even grab any other gears between that. And just locked the bike up, praying to God I didn't hit a buffalo. I was like, I've gone 14 days without hitting wildlife. I'm so close. I don't want to die. Because you hit a buffalo, you hit a deer, you got a little bit of a chance. But them buffalo are a little bit bigger.
No, you're screwed.
And so I finally stopped. Like, I get past the buffalo, and I was like, man, it probably pissed them off. They're going to start charging me. I'm not, and like you said, I'm not right. I ain't taking no selfies with buffalo. I'm going to keep moving. Get down the road. I had to stop for a minute, recollect myself, and I called my brother Two-Tone. I said, hey, man, we're just going to talk this into the finish line. Had near-death experience. I need to talk this one through. And
actually, not to interrupt you, it's funny because he chimed in here just a little bit. He's watching because Two-Tone's checking in. Tom Allen's here. He's in the side chat.
Yep, I see him.
All right, go ahead. I just saw that and I was like, oh shit, I forgot to. Didn't know if you saw that. I put it up in there.
It's popping up on the screen. I can't see all the comments, but I can see it. Hold on. Yeah. It
was there. You had him and one other guy.
Oh yeah, my prospect's P4 up in there too. But it was, and best way I could describe the Hoka Hey for a lot of people is, for me, it was like going through basic training. When I joined the Army, going through basic training. While you were in it, you had your good days and you had your days you just wanted to quit. But looking back on it, it was a once in a lifetime experience, and it was just phenomenal. And to actually be able to, for me, ride with a purpose and do good for other people while I got to do something I loved. It was irreplaceable. And, to get the messages from the boys and, just see the messages that, Gavin was doing, his posters every day, and, his color
that was
war
freaking
with
awesome.
Hop.
Yeah.
His color war with Hop, Hop's favorite color is blue, So, but to see what Hop and Riot, what Riot has created with Mile Monsters and what he has done for the boys, and getting other legends, as I call them,
Yeah, I totally understand.
Just I was humbled to be able to ride for Mile Monsters and everything, everything Riot was doing for, the monster riders, getting shirts, he's supposed to be preparing for the Hoka Hey. He's getting team shirts made. He's getting, all the riders had personalized coins made. He's still doing everything for everybody else and trying to do stuff for himself. Just top-notch guys all around through the Hoka Hey, because everybody's riding for something bigger than themselves.
Right. It's a good way to put it.
But when you ride for a purpose, it makes it a little more enjoyable, even on the bad days. Getting caught in the rain, hailstorms, riding with one good shot for 8 days, it makes it a little more enjoyable.
Yeah, the adventure sucks at the moment, like with that, but in the in game, you can look back and you know you got the memories, you have the stories, and you know it's like this you're coming on here telling the stories about it. Well, these stories, what you're sharing, essentially, are going to live on forever. I mean, people are going to be able to tune in on this, or they want to watch it here. Or, like this will come out on all the streaming networks on Wednesday, so it can be streamed on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, all of them. There's a ton of them. But that's the cool thing about this is your story talking about this is going to be here forever for people to tune in and listen to it and can hear about it. And, same with yourself. Say in a couple of years, you might have forgot about something. Say you turn it on for some crazy reason. It's like, oh, I totally fucking forgot about that. And
Exactly.
that's another awesome part about doing this is preserving the stories of people's adventures.
Yeah, and even the ride, just the ride going up there. Two Tone, he took my brother Two Tone. He took the week off, and he rode me up to the start line, and the next that Friday we went and checked in at the did the rider check in at the dealership, and then we went to Mount Rushmore, and then we went to Sturgis, and went to the motorcycle museum there in Sturgis, which is pretty cool, little mom and pop motorcycle museum, but had a lot of quality history in there.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to do Sturgis without all the Sturgis drama. And
see, that's what we did on Sunday. I mean, when all you guys left, we went up and did we did Mount Rushmore, did Iron Mountain Highway or Iron Mountain Road, did the Needles Highway up through Spearfish Canyon, and then we went into Sturgis that night for dinner. Kind of went down and got our my son and I did our picture down at the Epic Sturgis sign where I threw up my sticker on the corner of it, and it was kind of neat in a way. You go up there when it's not rally time and there's not another 500,000 people on the road, because like Needles and Iron Mountain Road, I mean, they're small roads. I couldn't imagine trying to ride those during Sturgis. Would be fucking insane.
We hit Needles on some people went before the Hoka Hey, but we didn't hit Needles before the Hoka Hey, and then that's one of the last real technical roads you hit before the finish line. And I ended up doing Needles Highway at like 11:30 midnight.
Oh Jesus!
And not gonna say it wasn't enjoyable, but I feel like it'd be a little more fun in the daylight.
Yeah, absolutely. I could. Yeah, no shit. I mean, because you're out there, I mean, you ain't got no light but your headlights.
Yeah, and wasn't nobody out there anyways. I didn't see anybody until I hit a town on coming down to the finish line, and then I was like, oh, that's a cop. Okay. Anybody else? No. It was only me and the cops on the road at that time. So I'm like, well, I guess we're just going to do about 4 miles an hour over the speed limit. That way they can't say I was doing 5 over.
Yeah. No sense getting an award that close.
Yeah. That was the whole goal, was not to, especially after like day 10, I was like, all right, no more. We're going to play it a little safe and try not to get a performance award. But
yeah.
But I thought I was physically prepared. I thought the bike was prepared for it. It wasn't. I would definitely tell people to invest in a good suspension on their bikes before doing the Hoka Hey. Because stock suspension is shit, and I'm living proof of it. I'm sitting on road glide shocks right now. But that and cold weather gear. I treated it like it was an old school, biker thing, man. I had chaps, I had long johns, and I had a Carhartt. That wasn't enough. I ended up having to stop at a gas station in California and bought a $50 hoodie just to layer up underneath my Carhartt jacket to be warm. And thankfully they had hand warmers in there too, because I didn't have heated gloves or heated grip. So I was throwing hand warmers in my glove, trying to get my hands warm. And But definitely some cold weather gears in my future real soon.
So after the whole adventure, getting it done, you know, getting across that finish line, would you sign up for it again?
Yeah, I want to do it again. Probably not 24. Um, the the boss lady said 24 is probably out. 26 is a good possibility. So that'll give me, 4 years to the new bike, get the new bike set up. Um, so my Dinah is retired from Hoka Hey life. She did her one and she's one and done, but I got some more in me.
Yeah, I would like to go for 26. My wife, after following the Hoka Hey page with, some of the accidents people had and everything going on, she says, there's no way in hell you're riding. I said, well, not in 24. She's not ever. I'm like, not in 24. 26 maybe. But, that was all that came out of her mouth. But she's like, like she said, she wished she wouldn't have followed the page just for some of the accidents. And, it's unfortunate so far every year, there is one individual that doesn't make it back home. That's sad. But,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And, my wife, she was a nervous wreck. And, that tracker, we had people following me extremely heavy. To the point to where if I stopped for gas and I took a little bit longer on the gas stop, they were calling my wife, they were calling two-tone and, hey, why is he stopped? He's at a gas station. He's probably getting gas and probably going to the bathroom. Or, a lot of times we're out in the middle of nowhere. I got to use the bathroom. Hey, we're just going to pull off to the side of the road. Why is he stopped on the side of the road right there? Probably taking a piss. Just be honest.
Yeah.
But, you'll have those people that are just on it constantly, just watching the tracker. And, I had to apologize. Like when I got back home or after I finished and we were on our way home, I was texting people like, hey, sorry, didn't respond while I was on the ride. I was busy. Thank you because I was constantly getting text messages, Facebook messages on TikTok, Instagram, all of them. Hey man, keep it up. We're rooting for you. Everybody, I had people sending me money on Cash App for gas and food. And
I think I'd send you a couple texts, but I mean, I wasn't never expected a response back. Just, little words of encouragement, keep going. And, I do have a few of the guys that I follow, I knew and whatnot, but it's like, knowing what you guys are doing, it's like, I don't expect responses, words of encouragement, hey, we're all, looking out and watching and following and, have fun, ride safe.
Yeah. And I had to tell them, I'm like, it means more. Like, I hated that I couldn't respond, but it definitely helped. Like people didn't realize it, but it was probably at the lowest moment and you were ready to just throw in the towel and you get that text message, bam. And just a simple, hey man, keep going. You're doing awesome. That'll push you another 100, 200 miles late at night when you're dead tired.
I would bet so. I can imagine. But, I mean, it's awesome. You made it through it. You powered through with, it wasn't the most greatest ride, but you made the best of it and you came across the finish line, though. And that's, my hat's off to you. That's awesome.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. And, it was a great pleasure meeting you up there in Rapid City. I walked out. I think I was with Wild Ass Craig when I walked out, and I asked him. I was like, "Hey man, is that Denver Woods? Like, that's the V Twin Life guy." He was like, "Yeah." I said, "Oh shit!" Like, I was a fanboy. I'm not gonna lie. I was a fanboy when I saw you. I was like, "Dude, that's fucking Denver Woods."
That's awesome, man. I think. And actually, what's cool, it's actually sitting, my little collection. I got some of the, you gave me your challenge coin too, which was awesome.
Yeah, and like the guys at work hated on Fridays because I hooked the Bluetooth speaker up and I put the V Twin Life on shuffle, so we'll get first one up is usually the newest one, and then after that, it's just whoever they pick, whoever Spotify picks to come
Yeah.
up. And I've probably listened to them all at least a dozen times.
That's awesome, man. And thank you for that, for, following and listening and whatnot and all this. It's been awesome, getting to meet you that day and, put a face to the actual person that, all the little Facebook posts and build that friendship. It's awesome. That's what I enjoy about this most is the friendships that I've gotten out of everybody. It's a lot of fun and just hearing other people's stories, live vicariously through other people through the ride and adventures they get to take that, some of us have bucket lists, we want to do stuff, but, hey, Sparkz has been through that area. Hey, cool. Let's, hear his story. And, you build that list and hear some travels and just, sit back, enjoy it like you're on the road and just, live through the visions and whatnot, the stories you're telling. And I enjoy the hell out of this stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And like I tell people, like, listening to the V-Twin Life, my bucket list for riding has grown because I hear stories of, people telling stories of places they rode and be like, hey man, all right, write that one down on the list. I'll go throw it up on Google Maps and research. Okay, we're going to definitely add that one. All right, there's a restaurant to stop on that one.
I'm the same way. It's like I've built that bucket list from, places like through the Catskills in upper New York, places I've heard down in, the Sisters down in Texas and places in Colorado. I mean, and, Arkansas. It's just, you build that list. Like, God, people always talk about they want to go to Europe and travel, ride, experience roads over there. It's like, man, I think so many people don't realize, or maybe they just don't have take that second thought of, man, we have some epic roads and places in our own country that, hopefully through sharing stories of this, people are going to realize and go, holy crap, we got some awesome places.
Yeah. And then, and also it, putting faces to names, it helps when you're doing your cross-country travels. Because, you ever come to Texas, you ain't even, I don't have the Taj Mahal, but what I got at the house, man, hey, you crash at the house, we'll feed you good and, have plenty
man, you're
of beer
talking
and
about the
for you.
epic barbecue stops next door to gas stations. I was already sold, man. It's like, I plan someday, I do want to get down to Texas and, check out the place. No, it's absolutely huge and couldn't see it all, but I do want to spend some time in Texas and check out some people and places. I'd definitely be hooking up with you.
Yeah. And then like I was telling you before we jumped on live, next end of July next year, I'll be up in Portland and I'm gonna take a week off, man, and I definitely want to come up there and drink some beer with you. We'll go for a ride one day and
absolutely, man. Yeah, and you get up that way. Yeah, I mean, shoot, we got mess text back and forth, but yeah, shoot me a message, get up here, and dude, that's not a problem at all. We'll
gotta try one of your burgers, man, that I hear you talk about so much on the podcast.
Oh yeah, we can do some smoked burgers. Those things are delicious. Let them slow cook in the smoker for about 2 hours. Yeah, buddy.
But yeah, I got some more adventures coming up that I've got in the works. So on the Hoka Hey, we didn't hit Colorado. And I can't remember. I don't think we hit Montana. I can't remember all of it, but I definitely got to hit those two so I can cross them off the list. The states I've rode in, and just
there's some cool
I gotta
places
go
in
experience
Montana.
America on the back roads.
Yeah, there's some awesome places. You come up through Idaho and head up to Montana over Lolo Pass is awesome. You got Beartooth, but I mean there's so many. I mean, there's a lot of places I haven't experienced, like up Flathead Lake and northern Montana. I've heard through Highway 2 through Montana is just awesome too. But there's definitely a lot of more places I'd want to experience also in Montana. It's huge and just awesome, freaking mountainous country, and it's on my list too. That's for sure. I've done Lolo, and that was awesome. That was an epic ride.
Yeah, it was. It was an epic ride. I can say I rode the Grand Canyon at sunrise.
Hey, that alone is something epic to be able to, have in your memory banks, be able to say, doing that. That is fucking kill.
Shoot, there was one day we were coming off a mountain and come around the curve, and there was 2 wild horses on the side of the mountain, just right there on the side of the road, and scared the crap out of me at first. But I stopped and got a picture of them, and something told me, hey, let's go see if we can touch them. K Solo had posted a video a couple days earlier on that same road, probably them same 2 horses. And I think
I remember seeing that one.
Yeah, and I walked up to them, hand out, and got to touch them. And as soon as I touched them one good time, they took off. But then you stop, and after I pet the horses, and I looked up, and you just see for miles. And it was, sun was coming up, and it was just mountains and valleys and just phenomenal views the entire time.
Yeah. Springer Mike said Crater Lake in Oregon down through the Redwoods is an epic one, too. The other one shows if you go through southern Idaho and you go through Craters of the Moon.
Yeah.
That is pretty freaking cool, too.
Yeah. And
all right, Mike, we got some just to do it, buddy.
It's like there's a lot of those roads I want to go back. I want to go back and ride them and enjoy it and not be crunched for time. Like I want to go through Roswell, just to see the weird shit in Roswell. Actually go ride as many roads in the Grand Canyon as I can. Just go enjoy Wyoming. Wyoming
at least
was cool.
Yeah, not the part I went through. I mean, actually one of the most amazing places is you head south out of Billings into Wyoming. You crest over the mountain, and it's right near the Wyoming state line. It's like you're coming down a hill, and dude, I swear to God, if it's clear out, you could see for 100 miles. It's just hill after hill, and you see the highway just straight. And it was absolutely amazing.
And then just enjoy some of it. And camp out more. Like, we camped on the Hoka Hey, but I wouldn't consider that camping, because you'd be dead tired. You find a place to sleep. You'd set up your bedding. You lay down. 3-4 hours later, you're back up and moving. I had Love's truck stop. I had truck stops. I had gas stations, church parking lots. In Wyoming, I stopped at a whitewater rafting tour place, and they had the school buses with the trailers with the canoes and rafts on it.
Mm-hmm.
I backed the bike in between the school buses, and I slept in a canoe that night that was on the trailer, just because all I had to do at that point was pull my sleeping bag and pillow out. And
that's freaking cool.
For me, I think that was probably my favorite part, was the task of finding a place to sleep, other than the nights at the gas stations. Just finding,
good place to pull off.
A place to pull off. North of Lake Tahoe in California, we slept on the side of the mountain, and they had it was a little pull off on the side of the mountain for slow cars so everybody could pass. But they had rocks right there, so we pulled the bikes behind the rocks they had for the little lookout. There was, I think, 5 or 6 of us that slept there that night. Pulled our bikes behind the rocks and went to sleep. It was like 50 degrees when we went to sleep. It was 37 degrees when we woke up.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm from Michigan, but I moved to Texas because I hate the cold. So I was not prepared for that wake up. It was not a good one that morning.
I bet not. But it was an awesome adventure you had, and you can look back and it's like, fuck, you got hours and hours of stories. I mean, we could sit here all night long. I'd love to hear them all, but it's awesome to see, to be able to hear some of your stories and just getting to meet you face to face and knowing that you actually made it. You crossed the finish line and you made it through, a ride that not everybody can make it through, and to push yourself and to say, hey, you know what, I did finish that, dude, that's monumental in my books. And my hat's off to you that you pushed on even through times where you were ready to throw it in, but you still had the drive and the pursuit, and you kept going. And man, Sparkz, that's awesome. And thank you. And also, I want to say the other thing, thank you for your service within the military also.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. And thank you again for having me on here. It's an honor to be on here, with some of for me, who I consider the greats, Riot, Solo, Hop, Go Home Ken, Paco, Reef, like all these big name guys in this world that we love to ride in, man. And to be considered, for people to consider me in that same category or whatever, man, it's a humbling honor. And
hey, thank you, man. And, I just like to hear everybody's stories. We all enjoy this life on two wheels. We all have stories, and you just finish an epic journey, and why not hear some about it, and share some of that story, and experiences and knowledge to pass on to other guys, other riders, not just guys, even women.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I can say I rode with, I got to ride with the greats, got to ride with, with the awesome female named Twister out of Houston, Texas, man. She was the 13th finisher, first female finisher in the 2022 Hoka Hey. I mean, she was a beast.
Absolutely.
And I was truly in awe of what she did. And
yeah.
And the crazy thing is, at the start line, she was right next to me.
Oh, that's freaking cool.
And,
what we'll have to do actually, is maybe we're gonna have to hook up and do a part 2, because I know there's so much more, about the ride, with sleeping, or even little things about getting some food and everything else. Whether you're the little hiking stoves or whatnot. I know there's so much more that I'd love to cover and share. So I think we're just gonna have to schedule a part 2 here in the very next few weeks, if you're up for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll make sure all my technological difficulties, we'll make sure we got backup plans so we're not waiting around.
No problem, man. But yeah, no, dude, I mean, if you want to share, a little bit, people can follow you on social media, go ahead, and then we're definitely going to have to get in touch. We're going to have to do a part 2 here in the next week or two.
Absolutely, man. And, maybe one of the podcasts, man, we'll do crazy coordination, get all the mile monsters together.
I've been kind of throwing that back of my mind, getting a whole bunch of them together and doing one. That would be awesome. I know you get beyond 4, it gets complicated, but it'd be a lot of fun to get a bunch of people together and do a big one, and hear a bunch of stories. I'm down with that. That's a hell of an idea.
So, but hey, man, I'd definitely be following you on your ride. I'm gonna check my calendar, see if I can squeeze in a 1K in a day on that one. And while you're riding up there in the Pacific Northwest, we'll throw something together here in Texas too.
Awesome, man. Hey, buddy, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Thanks everybody for tuning in. You can follow along Sparkz. What is it? Sparkz Adventures.
So on my Facebook. So if you want to follow my rider page, it is, again, excuse me, I'm technologically retarded. It is actually Sparkz Hoka Hey Rider number 1103. And then Instagram and TikTok is Adventures with Sparkz.
There it is. So you guys can check it out, follow along, and hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. It's been an awesome episode. We are, as we just said, we got part 2 coming soon because there's so much more to cover, but kind of running out of time. So guys are gonna have to tune in, watch for the upcoming post for Adventures with Sparkz part 2 as we continue this. Thank you all guys for tuning in. Ride safe, have fun, and we'll catch you very soon.